What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to not another. It's another episode, but it's a new episode of We Are No Longer Gazer Forged. We have included Mr. Nerd. We include everybody. So, welcome to Archives of the Empire. Now we are officially changed our name. This will be moving forward. What we go by. So, as always, joined by my boy Kyber Ford down there. How you doing, sir?
Howdy, howdy.
Hello. Next to me, I got Mr. Star Wars Nerd 00 rocking the sweet new R2 hat. Love it.
Yes, sir.
And then special guest today, because we have a lot to talk about Star Wars wise, and this man knows his Star Wars, Mr. Whistle and Breeze down there. How you doing?
Doing well. Glad to be back.
Oh, it's good to have you, dude. It's been a while.
It's been
Been a hot minute. All right. So kicking things off here, guys. Any new pickups this week or anything? I know Star Wars Nerd's been a good boy.
well.
Except
There's
for
that
that.
my buddy gave me.
That's true.
That's
true.
I've been getting more into the whatnot streaming. I've been kind of expanding my inventory. So I got a few cards. Like this was kind of a cool one. The really cool ones are on the way.
Hello there.
So
What's up, Ricky?
What's going
the
on?
ones I have, not so much. Hey,
What's up,
dude?
Bryant? Good to see you.
I got this one on Tony's stream the other day. I thought it was pretty sick.
Oh, that's a sweet Darth Vader card. That's
It's one of the
really
moniker
cool.
ones.
Yeah. Supposed to be getting my
Yeah, I
Darth
got it
Vader.
for like $2.
That's sweet. I showed this already, but Seth hasn't seen it, so I'm going to show it. I had a stream Tony Star Wars Sith 66, and I got some sweet cards from him. I got this foil card, this Boba Fett. Here, let's do like this. There we go. This Boba Fett foil,
Nice.
Look at that head. That's always going to be on that body.
right? I know it's beautiful. And then let's see here. I also got this foil here, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, that prismatic one you got?
Though this is the prismatic one, and you
that
can
was
see it.
shiny.
So I'm super stoked about that.
Man.
Those are
I
my
got
pickups.
a sick one the other day that's on the way. I can't wait to show it. So, have you guys seen much of the 2005 Revenge of the Sith? Like, I know Gazer has. Nerd, you probably seen some too. Pop, you probably. They're like the 2005 ones.
Foiled?
Mm.
Yeah, so have you seen the lenticular Anakin the Vader card?
No.
Those are sweet.
I pulled it.
Do you have it yet?
Oh.
It's on its way.
That's sweet.
So
Nice.
here's the craziness about it. Dude just randomly gifts a pack to somebody randomly in the chat. Guess who
What?
got gifted that pack? And guess what pack had a random Anakin to Vader lenticular in it? This
Wow.
guy.
Let's check the chat here real quick. Obviously, I already brought him up, but Mr. Bryant, sir, evening. Thank you for joining the stream. We have
Howdy.
Cam, the movie man. Howdy, y'all.
Hey.
Good
Hello
to see
there.
ya.
Hello.
We have Star Wars Order.
What's
What
What's
up?
up? And Mac Man. What's up, boys? Good to see you. Good to see you.
How's everybody doing?
Yeah, good to see all you guys. Pop, I know you just got done recording a couple days ago. Not even a couple days ago, yesterday, the Rebel Collectors. But any new pickups?
Not really. Not really. I do have like cards right here in front of me that I'm gonna be doing one of Tony's and BP's idea, the pull box. So I'm kind of going through some stuff.
It's spreading.
Yeah, I got a lot of cards, and I'm like, all right, let me get rid of some of these cards during the pull box. I might have some PSA slabs up for grabs as well, just to
Ooh.
not say that I'm getting rid of like card collecting, but I feel like, I was kind of like going a little bit too crazy. So
Yeah,
now it's like, okay, let's be a little bit more selective of what you want.
yeah.
We all were, dude.
Especially not just with ICCC, but you have Celebration coming up too that you're going
Yes.
to. So
Yeah.
you got to be really careful.
Yeah, I'm actually going to a con in Jacksonville this Friday with Ken Collects.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Nice.
we're heading up there just one day on Friday. And he's like, "You ready for Friday?" I'm like, "Yep, not gonna spend anything. I'm just gonna be filming for content because you know we got less than a month that I'm going to Japan, and I know when I go over there, there's gonna be so many things that I want to grab. So
That's cool. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Super excited about that. Well, boys, I guess let's just dive right in because this is something we wanted to talk about is you guys saw the news of that 13-13 game that got canceled, and then Rick McCollum came out and on a podcast, I think it was the Young Indie Chroniclers channel, ended up coming out and saying that yeah, we had a full Underworld Coruscant show, 60 scripts, third draft, all ready to go. It's going to be about $40 million an episode minimum. Like it sounded like it was going to be lit. So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts and just kind of see where you guys land on all of this. Now, the reason I brought Whistling Breeze on here, like I said, he's all things Star Wars, but believe it or not, back in times past, the game 13-13 is a game that he and I have talked about a lot. And so, but yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. I'll let you guys kind of take the floor and go.
Yeah, like I remember when the trailer came out, like I think I was actually a manager at GameStop at the time. So like I kind of saw it a little bit early. Like there was a bunch of promotional stuff that came out with too that like I definitely didn't take home. And I thought it looked really cool. Like it was they were going for the third person, right? Like that's kind of the vibe I got from the trailer. Like it was going to be kind of the over the shoulder shooter,
Yeah.
cover shooter. It seemed very Gears, like in a lot of like aspects. Like that's kind of seemed like what they were going for, like Star Wars Gears.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I guess I'll just kind of start things off, and if you guys have something to say, like go on in. But so, like I said, Seth and I, Whistling Breeze and I have talked about this game for a long time, and I'm very disappointed, especially finding out that George Lucas came in about halfway through when they were making it and said, "Hey, why don't you make the main character Boba Fett?" And it sounds like in that show, it was going to translate to that too, where a lot of the character was going to be a Boba Fett character and the underworld. Man, after listening to Rick McCollum, I'm very upset of the timeline of Star Wars that we are living in right now. I mean, you think about the show that could have been made, like Rick McCollum said, it was going to be violent, it was going to be sexy, it was going to be out of this world, and there's no way Disney would have ever bought in it. And I think we would have been better for it if Disney had not bought Star Wars. And so just, I mean, $40 million per episode, that's $2.4 billion with a B that show was gonna cost.
It was going to be on HBO, right?
It was gonna be on HBO, yeah. And man, I tell you what, with George Lucas at the helm, it would have turned into his baby. I think this show would have been, I mean, Rick McCollum says it too, but this show would have blown things up. And I think the Star Wars universe would have just been so, in a good way, like expanded like nothing we've ever seen before. And it's a shame. It is really a shame. And probably the greatest, not failure, but greatest disappointment, like he said, of our lifetime that this didn't happen.
Because there's a lot of stuff in Star Wars, like people getting their hands cut off, their heads cut off. In the first movie, you have the smoking skeletons of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Want to buy some death sticks? I mean, there's drugs everywhere. There's implied sex trafficking. I mean, there's stuff in there. So in a sense, yes, you could say that, hey, this is a children's IP, but it's not really. It's more like Indiana Jones or something like that, where there's stuff in there that's for adults. And yeah, a lot of kids like it, but it wasn't made for kids. It was made for adults. Now, if it did go on HBO, I would be concerned that it would be like an adult show, if you know what I mean, with
Yeah.
more like Game of Thrones or Yellowstone, stuff like that, where that's the kind of stuff that would draw people. But if you have an IP like Star Wars, the name recognition might help it more than naked people.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially you think now, like it was going to be done right after the prequels, before Disney ever
Exactly.
touched it. So
Exactly.
it would have had a name like that's not the Disney tarnished Star Wars that we think
Exactly.
of now.
Exactly.
It is back in the heyday when you think Star Wars, you're like, oh crap, they're coming out with a show now. Holy cow, that's sick. Like.
Yeah. And remember, episode 3 was the one that was PG-13.
Right.
So it was already going a little more. And if you have an actual, like a good game, like 1313 looked to be, you don't know until you play it yourself, but it looked like a good game. If you have that kind of multimedia push, it could have been awesome.
Yeah.
It could have been amazing.
Yeah. Especially if they were going to connect the game and the Underworld show, right? Because you would have had people that maybe don't watch Star Wars, but like Star Wars games, play that game, see the show come out and be like, oh shoot, I should watch that show. That looks dope.
And if you
guys remember too, like right around the time that 1313 was like canceled, you guys remember the Darth Maul game? Me and you guys were talking about this the other day.
Yeah. Yep.
Darth Maul game that was basically done, and they just scrapped it. Like, there's full-on gameplay you can see on the internet. Like, they literally had concept art for, I think it was supposed to be a DLC that was like a dark side Obi-Wan.
That's sweet.
And yeah, it just none of it ever came to be anything.
Pop, what were you gonna say?
No, I think it would have been great to have it, because you have adults that like novels and EU, and if you read those books, they're pretty dark, and there's some graphics in there. So I consider it like 1313. The series would have been something to connect with the EU fans and the adults, and like I said, HBO. I think at the end, we're thinking about Star Wars for kids, the light side, the dark side, being the hero and all this stuff. But like you guys said, if you really look at Star Wars and some of the stuff that's going on, it's not necessarily for kids. Disney is. So if you think about now, Mando, they got pretty much Mando from 1313. Getting Mando, putting a bounty hunter, but they made it clean. Let's save a baby. He's going to go and fight some people, but it really didn't go dark into drugs or anything like that, Just kidnapping a baby and strapping in, trying to take its blood for the midichlorians,
Yeah. Yeah.
His biggest moral conundrum was, should I take my hat off or not?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
I have that thought every day.
Macman says, imagine George was able to make it that show and Clone Wars at the same time. Star Wars fans of all ages would have been eating good. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. We got Outpost in the building. Hello.
Hello there.
Hello. Hola.
Bryant says that Rick McCallum interview came out on 6/24. I wonder why people are barely finding this out, with a crying face.
I never heard of Young Indiana Chroniclers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like Indiana Jones. So I'm like, I've never heard of the show. So but they've got some guests on there.
Harrison Ford is actually on the show at one point.
Nice.
He played like a flashback, like I guess flash forward scene, I think at the end of the series, and it showed like him as adult, like Indiana Jones.
That's yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's a weird show.
In the show itself, yeah.
Yeah.
He that's the episode where he plays the saxophone in like a jazz band or something. Yeah, it was a weird show.
I mean, what do you guys?
Stuff that was made in the 90s is pretty weird.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Like, if that video did come out last June, like, why do you think just like people are just now talking about it?
Because there's nothing else to talk about.
Partially, yes, I think so.
Somebody went to go search video to make a short, on YouTube and say, "Hey, I came across this," and now I just kind of resurfaced again.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, like, in Star Wars fans conversation where you're just like, you'll talk about things like, oh yeah, 1313, and then that's where it'll come up. It's never really something that like people are just actively thinking about all the time, but everybody just kind of remembers it.
Yeah.
I'm more
Yeah.
upset. Like, I mean, I knew there was a concept for the show, but I'm more upset about the game.
Me
Yep.
same.
Everybody got hyped for the game, and I don't. What year was that? Because I'm kind of trying to see if I was at GameStop
like
as well.
13 or 14?
I thought it was a
Maybe
few
I
years
think
earlier than
I might
that.
have been at GameStop at the GA at GameStop part time.
Hold on, let me see.
But yeah, there was a at GameStop. If you worked at GameStop or you even go shopping at GameStop, they try to hit you up with the pre-orders, and if you pre-order this,
Oh yeah,
you get this secret weapon. So obviously, being a Star Wars fan and hearing that you're
2012.
hype,
2012. Yep.
2012, then yeah, I was at GameStop 100% because my son was born in 2011. So yeah, I was working there part time, and just the hype for it. And then now, so many games that got cut, and I'm like, how have we seen like leaks and footage? Like, why would you cut this game? And like
Yeah.
you said,
Yeah.
Gears. I mean, I got the freaking Gears tattoo tatted on me.
Nice.
So
Right.
being hyped
I
for
love
that
Gears.
game as well. Yeah. So
Yeah.
very disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is something we've been talking about for a while now, and I think you're right, Ricky. I mean, part of this is just that there's nothing else to talk about at the moment, but at the same time, I mean, it's unfortunate because it just brings up feelings of, I'll be honest, I hate Disney Star Wars. I'm just gonna be real. I cannot stand it. Like what they've done to the story and a lot of these characters, especially characters like Luke, I'm fed up. I'll be real. I am fed up with it. I want a good show that's consistent. Why can't we get that? Why does everything have to be a game?
It
My
shouldn't have to
brother-in-law
be-
says me too.
It shouldn't have to be about. You think about now with Marvel, right? And the Daredevil. And Daredevil, like, they were kind of thinking about it, should we bring it back? Because it was Netflix, it was kind of like for the mature audience, but people loved it. So
Yeah.
we have mature audience in Star Wars. You should be, you got the young, what is it, the Young Jedi show for kids. You can
Yeah.
still make Star Wars shows for kids and kids friendly, but you have adults that who's paying the Disney Plus services? A kid, Adult.
Right.
So have different content for everybody.
Right.
Disney shouldn't be afraid of getting into the mature audience. If you're doing Daredevil, you should be able to do the same thing, for Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah, like
You can
I
look
go
back-
and watch like Spider-Man with like my kid, but I definitely didn't go take her to see Deadpool.
No.
Yeah.
No. Right.
Yeah. You can go back to the time of the prequels and look at the video games that were coming out, and you have like little kid games. The one where you're like a droid worker on Tatooine. I mean, it's like for little kids, like 5 years old. But then you have all the way to like the Force Unleashed, where you're killing people left and right. So like, come on.
Yeah.
Greatest game ever.
Yeah. I
Mm.
love that game so
Yes.
much. The game was so good. Yeah. I'm tired of the bull crap, man. Like, I'm with you, Ricky. Like, even if they were to tier things out, like, here, we're gonna come out with some shows. These are animation. These are not that I don't like animation. I do, but like, here's some animated shows for the kids. And then, hey, there's some adult shows here that are like TV 17 shows, like that we're gonna come out with for the adults. Like,
Yeah, I mean, we need we got Mando, but I would really love a bounty hunter show.
ooh,
Oh,
But
yeah.
like with massive bounty hunters, because there's so many of them. Them
Right.
talk, excuse my language, but them talking shit against each other. Maybe somebody else stealing somebody else's bounty. Them fighting against each other, going into the underworld of Coruscant and seeing like some sexy Twi'leks.
I think Ricky's just describing Underworld.
But I'm just saying, like, we need stuff like that because we hear these stories. Well, there's stories in comic books, there's EU stuff, And it's like, why are they not producing this? This is great content. And if again, it drives me crazy because I know Disney's about money. 100%. You go to the park, you're gonna be broke.
Yep.
$18 hamburgers. So they're
Right.
about money, right? So
Yep.
make the good shows.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna get with a good show, figures are gonna sell, t-shirts are gonna sell, people are gonna buy the DVDs, posters, everything with a good show. So if they're all about your ching, they say like let's listen to the fans. Like, do they have fans come into the boardroom or anything and just listen to legit Star Wars fans?
Right.
Or it's all about let's sell something cute like Lola and Grogu and
Yeah.
Neil, even though I love Neil. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
Right. Or even like if you were coming out with a show or a movie, obviously you don't have to show the whole thing, but like show parts of it and get like a little Star Wars like nerd group together. Be like, hey, sit down and watch this. Tell me what you think.
Focus
Like,
group.
a little focus group. I couldn't think of the word. Thank you. But like a little focus group of some type of like actual Star Wars nerds, not corporate people who say they're nerds, but actual Star Wars nerds to sit down and watch it and be like, okay, yeah, I could see where you're going with this. Let's go.
The way I see it, like I'm kind of hit or miss on like Disney Star Wars. Like there's some things I like, there's some things I didn't like. At the end of the day, they can't keep making bad things. There's a bottom line involved. Like eventually they're going to be like, well, this didn't work. We have to try something else. Like money's money. A corporation's going to still want to make it. And if they're losing money because something just nobody's watching it, like all the Disney Plus subscribers they lost, they're going to have to pivot somehow. Like they spend money on Star Wars. It's one of their big things.
Unless you have fans who start making their own stuff, right? Like Jar Jar Jargons creating his own anime show off the Heir to the Empire series. I think that's where you're going to have stuff start going more, is instead of we're so sick of Disney and so sick of them not listening to the fans that we're like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to make my own stuff. I don't care if it gets copyrighted. I don't really give a crap anymore. I just want good Star Wars. That's all I care about at this point. And I think that's where fans are headed right now. Bryant says they don't want to make good shows or movies because Disney isn't creative anymore. All they do is they bought Fox, Marvel, Star Wars, the list goes on and on. They don't know what to make anymore or what to do.
Yeah.
Yep. Millennium Workshop, welcome. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So Disney also needs to stop blaming fans for their mistakes. Absolutely. Yeah. We don't watch your stuff. Not because we're racist or bigots or homophobes. We don't watch your stuff because, listen, Disney, come here, get real close. It's crap. Plain and simple. It's crap. And if I'm sorry you don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. I think most of us here would agree it's crap. We're tired of it.
It would never have succeeded unless it had the Star Wars name.
100%.
That's the only reason it even got as far as it has.
Yep. I agree. Millennium says, can someone make us a Darth Maul origin story, please?
Dude, like Palps and Darth Maul, the training, going into Dathomir and selecting Maul, like that would be amazing to see.
Yes. Yeah, and you could bleed that into like the Darth Maul and Plagueis relationship. You know, you could kind of start there with like a Darth Maul or a Palpatine Plagueis movie, and then kind of bleed it into like, oh, we're gonna do another movie here, but it's gonna be like the relationship between Palpatine and Darth Maul while Plagueis is still alive, you know, and how that all transpired. Like, there's so many cool things they could do.
You got like the Darth Plagueis book. I mean, it's pretty much like episode 0.25, and then like the Darth Maul Shadowhunters, like episode 0.5. Like they just kind of both kind of directly lead right into episode 1.
Yep.
And then you got that one like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon book that's like right before episode 1. But I can't even remember the title of that one.
I know what you're talking about though. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things they could do, and for I know we've talked about this, but for Kathleen Kennedy to make such a dumb statement of we don't have any source material. What are you talking about? I've seen the interview where George Lucas is sitting down with you and he says, we have EU books, we have comics, we have all these other things. What do you mean you have no source material? Either you're a retarded idiot or you just don't give a crap. Like one of two things is happening there. So please tell me which, because I would like to know. This is getting really like hurtful at this point.
Wasn't she involved with like a lot of big time movies for a long time? Like with Steven Spielberg and George
She was
Lucas.
a major producer.
She did a lot.
She's like
She
a
did
lifelong
some
producer.
Yeah, she did stuff with Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And a lot of
But
other
I'm
big
like,
movies.
how can you be that close to excellence and do what you're doing now?
It sucks
How
bad.
does that work? How did that happen?
Yeah.
You know, it could be that, you know, she might be the person taking all the bullets, which she is. Maybe Disney is forcing her to do certain things. And if she wants to keep her job, she's going to abide by what Disney wants her to do. And she's she's the face. So she's taking the hits for it. She may not necessarily agree, but she's not going to say that out loud because she's getting paid by Disney. You know, so you're going to do anything that, you know, your bosses tell you to do. It could be because she was part of a lot of amazing things. And if you were around all these great directors and writers through all these years, you pick up some things from them. You know, think about you as an employee and you had different managers. You pick up things from your different manager, your bosses, and kind of create. So I'm pretty sure, and she had George. Come on, right?
Right.
But there has to be somebody that's telling her not to do certain things or to push the Grogu too much. Because I got the guy tatted on my leg, for God's sakes, when Grogu came out.
Yeah.
But after a year, Jesus, how many everywhere Grogu. And that's how I could tell Disney took advantage of it, of just Grogu all over the place. Let's feed everybody Grogu. And that's not what it was about. The show's Mando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and then the Boba Fett show. Just kidding. Mandalorian show.
Right.
Well, that's just because they realized that show sucked like 3 episodes in.
They brought the Mando in to save that show. I mean, they had to.
It was crazy.
They wrote 3 episodes and like, all right, so we're ready for the finale, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Mando season 2.5. You're right.
Yeah.
Backman says, if that's true, then why is Filoni able to make his stuff relatively unimpeded?
Well, I mean, obviously they had to push some things with. Look at Grogu coming back from Book of Boba. Right? Grogu was supposed to get trained by Luke, and I love that. How many people love the scene with Luke trying to teach Grogu, and he's getting all those frogs and all this stuff?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, would have been badass to if they did something real smart where they just let Luke train and we forget about Grogu, right? And then now that you have this massive movie that's going to come out with Mando, and Grogu came back, and Grogu's a little bit older, and Grogu just comes in, like, let's just say Mando's against the walls, and he's just about to die, and all of a sudden you see somebody with the Force just crush, and you're like, yo,
green lightsaber that we've seen before, just in the, and you're like, you know, like
the whole crowd in the theater will be like, yo, what the? You know, like, we need that. But, you know, I take it back. I call it the WWE factor or the WWF. If you ever watch wrestling, how many times and Monday, the next day, and Tuesday, you're like, did you just see what happened? Because the writers were great. They were there to surprise us. So you need stuff like that. But now it's kind of like you're kind of predicting some of the stuff that's going to happen. You know, how many times you see now on YouTube predictions for next episode, and like 9 times out of 10 we're right. You know, because it's like it's kind of written. We know what's going to happen next. We need the old factor, you know?
Yeah. Yep. And don't get me wrong, I'm okay with some like predictability, obviously, because that's part of what draws people in is being like able to predict some things. But yes, we still need the good like turn of the chair, so to speak, where it's like, oh, I did not see that coming. You know, like,
Well, for me, I thought, okay, a lot of people didn't like Acolyte. And I was the person that was in the middle. It was not great whatsoever. It wasn't the worst, right? Like a lot of people say it's trash. They had some good parts. For me, it's just take out the twins. Because the show what we were promised in Celebration, when they showed us the trailer, a little bit of the show, they showed us battles, fights, lightsabers, multiple Jedis, and a red lightsaber. So we're like, oh shoot, we're getting something that we finally wanted. And then they started the show with talking about the twins. That's where it killed it for me. But if you think about Chimere breaking the neck and just tossing him, and then
punch.
that's what we want. That's what we were talking about. So for me, I thought it was going to get good after episode 5, and it just kept on going down. But we could get dark because I mean, the guy took a Sith bath, no soap, naked. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I call it a Sith bath. That's what I told my girl. So when I go to the bath and I don't use no soap, I just took a Sith bath. You know what I'm saying?
I got a new term now.
Yeah, you turn Sith bath. But the thing is, they had moments where, and then you show Plagueis at the end, and I'm like, dang, you had an opportunity, you messed it up. You messed it up big time because it was supposed to be about an acolyte. I want my acolyte, you know, and they messed it up big time. Story of the twins, super trash. Take that out.
Yeah.
And just focus on one. If they just had one girl and don't show the whole witchcraft and all that stuff, just show the girl that used to be a Jedi. Kind of like think about Ahsoka, right? She got blamed for something. She left. So if you take it, same thing. She was a Jedi. She was getting trained. She just didn't like to see what was going on. Maybe she had some second thoughts about the Jedi Council, and she left. And then she got picked up by Chimere, and he teaches her the dark side, and now it ends up in a big battle where her ex-master, and she kills him, and she continues the path. Just do that. Get rid of all the twins, all the rituals, all that stuff. That would have been a badass show, but you messed up when you start adding too much extra things to it. I don't know who told her to do that, and now it got canceled. And to me, I think Chimere, Chimere was a great character that I want to know his backstory. Who taught him? And then we know Venestra's, I think her name was his master. He got scars in the back with the whip lightsaber. Marks. Yeah, so I would have loved to seen a flashback of that. But they
shoot,
like there's a lot of
Acolyte
cool
show about that.
Yeah. I'd be totally down for like a Chimere like prequel. Like that'd be sick. Like
the Acolyte show about the Acolyte.
Yeah.
When they did Battlefront 2, the EA one, and they were going to have that big you're going to work for the Empire story. That was like 2 missions. And then you're like, oh, I'm a bad guy. I don't want to be a bad guy. I'm going to join the rebellion. Like, that's not a bad guy story. Like,
right.
Come on.
What are we doing? Yeah.
I'm the bad guy. Oh, I'm going to stop now.
Macman says speculation is fun, but the wow factor was always the best thing when watching Star Wars. Yep. Millennium says, put me into Riot. I could have pulled off the Acolyte. I think a lot of us probably could have, to be honest.
That's the thing too. Like we were talking about the twins, like, and I think the biggest problem was they didn't ever distinguish them between like the difference between the two of them. Like there was literally parts in that show, and I'm like, okay, who is this? Is this Osha? Is this May? Like I don't know until they literally decided I'm going to cut part of my hair off. I got lost on who was who. Like that was part of the story that was just weak. Like
the worst part,
there was parts that weren't bad, but that was a bad part.
The worst part about the twin story is why did they have to be like Anakin? No.
You don't do that.
F off. Get out of here with that. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. They weren't born from the Force no. There's only one.
They didn't have a Mace Windu. That's the problem there. They didn't have a Mace Windu to keep him in line and make sure that he would be the right kind of Jedi, you know? Fortunately, he didn't have that. It's okay.
Jeez. So bad. So bad. Yeah.
He's just trying to get under my skin.
Love you, buddy.
Is it working?
A little bit.
We were going through. He said there's 2 words I'm not allowed to say. So I went through several
No.
words.
So the surprise that Kyber's got a little later on, I told him that I was gonna do it as soon as you started the like your intro, and I was like, "Just 2 words, man, just say them. Don't test me, Kyber." And he was like, "What 2 words? Darth Plagueis, Dark Empire, Owen
Dude.
Magic?"
Bryant
I also
brings
put
up
$1 starts.
an amazing point. $20 says Revenge of the Sith will do better in the box office when it comes back out April 25th than any Disney Star Wars theatrical on its re-release. Yeah.
he's-
100%.
Do you
I mean,
understand that I'm
100%.
going every day that it's in theaters? Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
it's kind of on it's basically like everybody's Star Wars like top films. It's in everybody's at least top 5. Like no matter
It's-
what
yeah.
era you're a fan of, like it's
Yeah.
there somewhere.
For me, my top 2 are it's 1A, 1B. Empire Strikes Back, then Revenge of the Sith. 1A, 1B. I mean, they are that close for me.
It's a lot of
same
people's
for
starting
me.
point. A lot of people's starting point to their Star Wars history. Like, you know, a lot of people could point to nostalgia. Like, either I was 5 years old, my dad took me, this was the first DVD that I saw. You know, Revenge of the Sith is really big. So I expect those tickets to fly fast too. So don't sleep on it when them tickets go on sale. I know I got a
I'm
movie
old. I
theater
was in
that's like
college.
3 miles from me, so I'm about to go every day too as well.
I think they go on. When do they go on sale? Thursday? I think Thursday or Friday this week. I think they go on sale.
I gotta look
Oh.
up and see if like anywhere around here has like those. What was it, 4XD or whatever? Like those
40X,
4D
yeah.
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 Let's see if it really see that.
Somebody told me the 4XD experience was good because we talked about it in Rebel Collectors, and then somebody said you guys got to try the 4XD. I did it when they did episode 1, and the pod racing scene was crazy on 4XD.
that would be
You
sick.
can imagine, you're like,
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
yeah.
So imagine the Obi-Wan battle when they're like leaping
Oh
from
my
like
God.
platform to platform in those chairs.
Yes.
Bro.
Just imagine being on the high ground in one of those chairs.
the person next to you is in the low ground, and you're in the high ground. Like,
So
Dude,
they go to
imagine the
halfway
opening
part
battle.
of your chair rumble in a weird way, like my legs.
Yep. Yeah, Friday. They go on sale. They should be going on sale Friday. It's about 6 weeks before April 25th. So it should be about Friday that they go on sale.
sweet.
So
I'm
be
still
watching
upset
out on
it's been
Friday.
out for a week.
Dude, I'm excited. I'm getting tickets for IMAX. I'm taking my 3 oldest kids with me. My dad's gonna go with. Like, it's gonna be fun. Like, I'm dressing in all my Obi-Wan cosplay. I don't give a crap. Like, I'm going full bore on this. I'm gonna enjoy it, man. Like,
It's different. It hits different. You're sitting with a bucket of popcorn. You're with friends and family. The sound effects that you don't have unless you're rich. You don't have that movie theater sound effects. Like people are like, oh well, you could watch it at Disney Plus in your living room. Yeah, but it's not the same. I got a smelly dog that's walking across the screen.
right?
I got pots and pans rattling over there in the kitchen. I don't know what's going on. No,
Right.
I want to be sound effects, big screen, popcorn, Coke. Yes, with my
Just
lightsaber.
put me in the movie, coach.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's gonna be, and I agree with Brian. I think it's probably gonna make way more in the box office over the 3 days that it's in there than any Disney movie that's Star Wars that's coming out. I
You gotta
guarantee it.
think too. There's gonna be a lot of people because I absolutely believe I'm going to be one of these people where you finish watching and you're like, I kind of want to go see it again. Like,
Yep. Yep.
Because you'll remember how good it was.
yeah.
Make sure the saber is red, please. No, Obi-Wan Kenobi in blue, baby. That's how we roll. Yeah.
Mine will be red. Don't worry.
You gotta. Have you been memorizing the Sith mantra? Peace is a lie.
Oh, peace is absolutely a lie, dude.
Darth
Hey,
Plagueis.
speaking of which,
This is a
totally
lie,
off
dude.
subject. Like, were we supposed to do the book club tonight?
We were gonna, but that's okay. I mean,
It kind of hit me like midway through. We were just like talking about EU stuff. Like, oh yeah,
yeah, it's all good.
guys,
I mean,
just finished it today too.
Me too.
yep. But yeah, I so upset. Oh, Pop has to go. Pop, thanks for joining, sir. It was good to have you.
Appreciate you, dude.
Somehow Ricky disappeared.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, Ricky, for sure. Thanks for being in. Yeah, it's really unfortunate what happened with this George Lucas project and this 1313 game. Man, what a different timeline we could be living in right now.
Yeah.
For the better.
Yeah.
So
I think I've said this before on the show, but if you look at I don't know about y'all, but for me, when I watched the original or the prequel trilogy, I didn't really get the politic side of it. I thought, okay, this is kind of boring. It's a lot of talking. It's kind of weird. Where's the lightsabers? But now that you're older, you're looking back at it. It's like he understood what he was saying. It makes a lot of sense. You can see it now in real life governments all over the world, where the way that they get you is by slowly encroaching, the bureaucracy expanding, and all of a sudden, where's the freedom? You've been taken over and you didn't even know it. Or like in Star Wars, you applaud for it. You're like, oh, thank you for taking my freedom. And when you see stuff like this, the show that could have been, I think he could have done some amazing stuff with that too. And even though you might have reservations about, okay, it's a little more hardcore, I think that he could have done like stuff that Disney can't even dream of doing. So,
yeah,
Yeah,
and
like-
it's that's the problem with him.
Like I'm kind of like hit or miss with everything. Like I said, Empire #1, Revenge of the Sith #2. But my #3 is Rogue One. Like I really dug Rogue One. I thought it was pretty sick and probably one of the coolest sequences I think in all of Star Wars is Vader in that hallway. Like, and
Yeah.
I thought the cast was good for it. I thought the acting was good. And I mean, if Disney didn't happen, that movie doesn't happen. So I mean,
Yeah.
and also that last season of Clone Wars. Like,
Hey,
if you haven't seen
no, no. We do not consider Clone Wars as Disney freaking Star Wars. It started on Cartoon Network.
for it.
It started on Cartoon Network. Credit where credit is freaking due.
If
Just
I had
like
a car and I
Rebels didn't
paid for
blow
the
up the
car,
Death
I would probably
Star.
say it's my
You
car.
Yeah, I mean there are a few things that are all right. Like Rogue One. I did enjoy Rogue One. I'll give you that. I actually enjoyed the Solo movie. I thought the Solo movie was all right.
That one took me by surprise. That was a great
Rekindle my love for
freaking movie.
Sabak.
Yeah, right. So, but I would say 99.9% of the things they make is trash. To be honest.
There is some bad stuff. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is too, like, I am old. So you guys experienced the prequels so much differently than I did. I was 13 when episode 1 came out.
I was 5.
So I was taken to the movie by original fans. And then the whole car ride home, I got to listen to how George Lucas just murdered Star Wars and how that was the worst thing they've ever seen in their life and how they are done with Star Wars and they're not even going to go see the next 2 movies. And then, I mean, you know, I didn't have the best opinion probably until, I mean, Attack the Clones was okay. And then, I mean, Revenge of the Sith was fire. But it wasn't until Clone Wars came out that I kind of was able to go back and get a better appreciation for episodes 1 and 2. Because there's just a lot of depth that just isn't in episode 1 and 2 that's added in the Clone Wars. Like, Anakin's fall is so much better if you add in all the sequences in like Clone Wars where you see those little cracks kind of starting in them and the whole like just how you can see like the Jedi just getting weighed down by like just what's happening in the Clone Wars, and it's kind of the same thing. Like going back to what we're reading in the book, like you see the Jedi and like that war getting pushed to their brink because they're doing stuff that isn't exactly Jedi stuff, and it's kind of like making them question their own morality, and it's stuff that's not exactly kids stuff, but yet it's on Cartoon Network.
Here's the difference, though. I see where you're going with that, but here's the difference between the prequels and the sequels. The prequels, when you watch the prequels, Clone Wars or not, they are consistent. The story makes sense. The sequels do not. And I think that's the difference where the
100%.
prequels, yes, in the beginning, people had a hate for them, okay? But over time, you can fall in love with something that, you know what, at least he's consistent. The story makes sense. Yes, we have these Clone Wars that explains a lot. The sequels, you're not going to get that because no matter how many times you watch all three of those sequel movies over and over and over again, they still don't make sense. They still have no point.
Longer and longer every time.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell literally at some point somebody dumped a bottle of like Whiteout in the Last Jedi script. Like it was just there is a total shift in tone and like multiple like not even once. Like they shift tone multiple times.
And then the Rise of Skywalker was Whiteout on the Whiteout.
Yeah, like, it was a highlighter and then going back and scraping the old Whiteout back out. And then realizing, oh crap, what have I done? And then throwing it back on top of it again.
Yeah. It was just a mess.
Yeah. It's the same for like the Solo movie where they had, I think it was the guys who directed the Lego movie, and then they took them out and they put Ron Howard in or all that kind of stuff. If you're going to do one thing, all right, do that one thing. But switching mid crossing the stream, like what are you doing?
Right.
Like, it's not good for a story. Like changing up a director. Yeah. Because there's only been one time I've ever seen like a tonal shift in like a franchise and it actually work. And that's Harry Potter. Like that's the only time they've ever been able to actually pull off tonal shifts is because they switched up directors like every couple movies in those ones. But everybody else, if you do that, it's catastrophic on like the movie because you lose like where your endpoint was because like it's no longer the same endpoint. Like
and it is a little different too with like The Empire Strikes Back. Like I know George was still there, obviously he wasn't gone, but you know you did have a different director in Irving Kershner. You know what I mean? And that movie is some of people's favorite movie. Mine, like that's my favorite of all of them. Like. It does have that tonal shift. So, yeah.
I have a hard time understanding how nobody likes Empire #1. It's just so much fun.
It is. It is. I just watched it today with my kids, actually.
I have not started the originals with my kid yet because I think she's too young to appreciate them. Because, like, it's something, and I can recognize it's hard to present those three original movies to like a 5-year-old and be like, no, sit down. No, sit down. We're going to keep watching this. I understand you have ADD, but
yeah. See, that's, I mean, it probably might be different with kids though, because my boys, I sat them all down. My youngest is 4 and he flipping loves Star Wars. Like that's what I started him on was the original trilogy. And like, he loves Star Wars. He loves the spaceships and like he loves that stuff. So
I finally found the end for her. Well, okay, so I've been just trying all these different Star Wars things just to see. She likes Young Jedi because it's basically Paw Patrol and Star Wars. But it really is like it's the exact same formula as Paw Patrol. It's just
episode.
and same thing with that Spider-Man show. Same thing. It's Spider-Man with Paw Patrol. But anyways, I've been trying all these different shows just to see what would hit. Like she likes Ahsoka, but she didn't really care for the show because it just didn't really resonate with her. And she seemed like Obi-Wan a bit because I think she was like super into like Lil Leia. But I think the first one I've got, like, she is enamored with The Mandalorian. Like I just started rewatching it. Like we watched like the first 3 episodes, and she's just sitting there like entranced with this. Like I was like, oh my God, I finally found one. Like,
that's awesome. Brian says, but even though George wasn't the director on that one, he was in charge of Lucasfilm and Star Wars. The studios never put their hands in it. Only thing the studios did was distribution. It was distribute. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I
George is
said.
a
Like,
smart contract guy.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, George was there, but at the same time, he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, I think he was just there to make sure his story wasn't ruined. But I mean, again, there was. I mean, you watch A New Hope, and then you watch The Empire. There's definitely a tonal shift, a pretty big tonal shift in that movie. So yeah, it's unfortunate, man. I don't know. It's a bummer, but. Any final thoughts on that before we move on? The game, the show that was supposed to come out. I mean, $2.4 billion. Oof.
That's some walking around money right there.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I don't know if the if Star Wars is ever going to be free of Disney or whatever. No one can know the future. But
they're never giving that up.
No.
Yeah. But I'm happy to see the response to news like this, where people were like, "Hey, this is something we would have liked. This is a direction that we would like to have gone, and maybe someday we'll go that way." I doubt it, but that would be pretty cool.
So like I said, they care about a bottom line. Like eventually they're going to have to come around. Like in all these rumors, all these little hints, they mean something. The Mara Jade lightsaber coming out at like Disney.
Yeah.
Something's happening.
Ahsoka season 2, maybe, if they're heading towards that heir to the Empire type theme, with Thrawn and all that, like maybe we see him.
Or maybe that Luke movie's true.
Right. Yep.
Like I think they're tiptoeing around a lot of things because I think they're testing the waters, just to say like, okay, you guys say you're into this. Let me see how into this you're in. Like I know they know it's there, but I think they're legitimately like pushing their chips a little closer to the edge. Just see, okay, we'll push them here. Let's see if you guys like bite on this or not.
Yeah.
And
Watch that RJ lightsaber. And like 30 seconds is just gone, because they only have a certain amount of them. So it's like,
it was pretty cool lightsaber. I don't even like Disney sabers. And it looked
neither do I. It does look pretty cool, except for the fact that it's probably going to be like a massive.
Oh, it's got to be enormous.
Yeah. Do you think they make the announcement at Celebration that who replaces Kennedy? No.
No, she's not going anywhere.
I think she is, though. Here's the deal, Kyber Ford. She just said she's not retiring from making movies. She will make movies the rest of her life.
She has now. She ain't going nowhere.
Here's the deal, though. Tony has changed his mind, though. If you've watched some of his later videos, he's kind of changed his mind because she does say that she along with Bob Iger, have been looking for people and been in that process.
Like Iger's already been looking for a successor, so maybe it's a part of the same bit. Like I don't know.
I don't know.
I know at least that's in motion because they've been talking about that for 2 years. Like I think it's supposed to be the end of this year. He's officially retiring.
Really, Bryant?
He's not wrong.
He's not. But dude, I think she is leaving. I think what all that was all of that news was coming out so fast and so like. It felt like the party on Naboo, when the Empire dies, and they're like, "We saw free," like it was like so crazy. I think what she said was to try and pull back the reins a little bit. Not that it's not happening, but I think it was more like a crowd control kind of thing, kind of tactic. I think she is on her way out.
I'm all for, but the thing is, and I've said this many times, like everybody gets all excited that she's heading out. How do you know the person that's replacing her isn't going to be worse?
Right. I would love.
We could see so much worse. It's possible. Like,
I'll be honest.
It is, but it is.
I've been thinking about this a lot. I would rather see Jon Favreau become president than Dave Filoni.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think he does a better job running companies.
He did great with Marvel. Like when he was running Marvel for a bit before they finally handed it over to Kevin Feige. Like he was running it for a little bit, and that was really when it's at its peak before like he handed it over.
Yeah. Clone Force 97 says we have an amazing bench of people here, and we have every intention of making an announcement months or a year down the road. We are in lockstep as to what's going to be. That's from her interview. So, yeah, Macman says Favreau would be amazing. Yeah, and then you let people like Dave Filoni cook, like you just let them go. You know,
He's a genius. He shouldn't be in boardrooms and stuff like that. He should be writing scripts and directing movies. Like
Right.
he's a creative.
technically,
let
he
him
should
do
be-
that.
He should be more involved now because he's the chief creative officer. He's supposed to point
Yeah.
them in the right direction on the
in the
storyline,
name.
but doesn't seem that he's doing that part of the job so far. I think he's kind of more
Well,
focused on his own shows and all that type of stuff.
yeah,
It could be like what everybody was talking about before. Maybe he just doesn't have the ability to really like he wants to maybe he signed up for this job thinking like, yes, I get control of Star Wars, and then he took it over and like, oh, I don't get to do anything. Like
yeah, yeah.
because the guy knows Star Wars and you could tell he loves Star Wars. So I don't think he's fully like got like both hands on the wheel as far as like being able to make those kind of decisions.
Yeah. Clone Force says Filoni is like George. Let him cook and have someone else do the paperwork. Macman, I like the way DC does it. Have someone do business stuff and Favreau do creative. Yeah.
I think that's why the Empire Strikes Back did so well.
Yeah.
Because you had George Lucas. I think he was a producer on the movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then the other guy directed. Irving Kershner directed.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. All right, Kyber Forge. You said we're on hour in. You said you have a surprise. Let's see what this.
So I don't
surprise
even
is.
know if it's going to work. So okay, so we have been watching all these hilarious Star Wars AI edits,
Okay.
and I decided to make my own, and I did this today, mind you. I made 30 seconds of this stuff, and then realized, you know what, screw it. I just want to put it up tonight. So then I kind of put the 30 seconds on loop and reversed it multiple times to fit the song, which I took the song from the dialogue between Ahsoka and Maul on Clone Wars, and I made it a emo song. It is hilarious.
All right. Let's see this.
Let's hope it works.
See. It's doing so well so far.
Look at them, so blissfully ignorant. Care to tell me what this is all about, or would you rather save it for the council? Oh no, you are the one that I wish to speak with. Were you not cast out of your order? I left voluntarily. Yes, but you were motivated to leave by the hypocrisy of the Jedi Council. We were both tools for greater powers. I'm here to bring you to justice. Justice is merely the construct of the current power.
That's hilarious.
Doesn't like it.
That's funny.
My computer doesn't like doing that. My computer started spazzing out.
He's making some weird noises, guys.
Galactic Cantina in the house. Hello there. Welcome.
Hello there.
Hold on. Do you guys just want to hear the song? Like, if you want me to play, I could just play the song. If you guys actually want to hear the song.
Sure.
Okay, let me find it on here.
No, this
No
is something that Kyber created.
But yes, I do watch AI songs.
Have you seen those
So,
Whistling
yeah.
Breeze? Those
I've
videos
seen some.
where they have like the microphones or whatever as their
Yeah.
I got to figure out how to do it. I want to make one so bad.
It reminds me of bad lip reading
Yes.
videos.
Yes.
Yes. Those are hilarious.
Okay, hold on. How's that sound? It's too loud or?
We can
Sounds
hardly
like
hear it.
Flies buzzing.
Yeah. It's not coming in very well.
Better? Worse? Yeah. You know what? I'll just throw the stupid thing up on YouTube and we'll play it on there next week.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Oh man. No, Yeah. I think those are hilarious. Those AI.
They are great. Like I'm trying to figure out like how to do the whole like making them lip sync and everything, and that's that. You have to really pay for the expensive like AI stuff to be able to get that stuff to work. But what I did figure out was how you could take two images and like make them animate between the two of them. So if you watch that video closely, once I get like the real one up, one of the images I actually used to splice between them is the card art for one final lesson between Darth Maul and Ahsoka. So
Okay.
you'll literally see a point where they're like leaping at each other. It's just that card art animated.
Oh, that's cool.
There you go.
Mac, man, thanks for joining, sir. It was good to have you. Thanks for chatting it up. Appreciate it. But yeah. So let's go ahead real quick. I guess let's do a quick book club talk about to kind of wrap things up here. Whistling Breeze, have you ever read the Bane series?
I have not.
Okay.
They won't
You're
let
about
me in the
to-
library anymore.
Oh, dang. Oh, man. I'm sorry, Beck. I'm sorry. I had to save some internet for my upload. There you go. Heck yeah. Welcome back.
That's that government.
Yeah,
Wi-Fi.
well, if you're not wanting spoilers, then we're wrapping it up because we've finished the book.
Yes.
I might bow out because I've heard this one guy, Star Wars Gazer. I don't know if you've heard of him. He says it's a good book.
It is. It is a good book. It is a good book.
Props to
All right,
nerd
well
on this
then,
one. He was right. Yes.
Y'all have fun.
Fantastic.
It's been
Thanks,
awesome.
Whistling Breeze, for joining us.
Peace.
Have a
Nice
good
talking
night.
to you.
Oh man. So all right, let's quick we'll wrap things up here with Gazer, hardly know her. Yeah. So let's wrap up our time tonight with the book club. So Kyber Forge, I'll let you kind of lead things off tonight and kind of
So, are we kicking off like where we left off? Because we didn't completely get through where we were, or are we going to go just jump back up the
give
chapter
a
20?
brief synopsis of what we skipped leading up to
so
where we started
skipped
reading.
over basically like where Giffany and Bane start like training together. They like go to the archives. Like Bane like discovers Force lightning, and he's like really freaking good at it. And let's see, is it still is like his attack on him, like when she's like allies herself, are we still in the first 20 or is that past 20?
Attack on who?
Oh, where Giffany allies herself with Surak.
Oh, that's in the first 20.
Okay, so yeah, then she just kind of realizes like that Bane, like, because Bane challenges Surak because they have their little plan, and Bane just destroys Surak, like wrecks him,
Yeah.
and pulls back rather than kills him. Like he should have, like he had the opportunity to end Surak and like you prevent a problem later, and he pulled back, and that upset Giffany, and she's like, you know, he's not really true in the dark side because he's not willing to give into it. And then basically she allies herself with Surak because that's just the kind of person Giffany is, and she decides that, you know, they're going to lure like Bane to the library, and like Surak and his bros are going to like attack like Bane and take him out. And
it was
it
at
doesn't
that
go-
moment they realized they messed up.
Yes. Basically, Star Wars version of F around and find out. Because Bane ruins everybody in the room, and except Giffany, where basically she's like, oh. And he's still, even after all that, like he's like, yeah, I'll let it slide. You tried to kill me, but whatever. And then so now we're up to Bane's thinking about going to the Valley of the Dark Lords. We still in the 20? Man, we didn't finish that. So then Bane like realizes that a lot of these teachings that he's like been learning from the Dark Lords are contradictory to what real Sith should believe. And he decides like that he's not going to learn anything in this temple. He basically tells him to screw off. Oh, right before that, the blade master, is it Kashyyyk?
No.
Kasim.
Oh,
There's Kasim, Khan, and Cordis.
I
Kasim.
think it's Cordis.
Cordis, okay. Cordis goes to him and gives him his master's blade. So Bane gets his first lightsaber. And then basically goes and then talks. Is it Khan that he talks to? And basically tells him, no, he doesn't meet till Khan till later. Like, Khan's always
Yeah,
just on the
Kasim.
Khan's
run.
on
the
rooftop.
lightsaber master is
Yeah.
Kasim.
Okay, so then he talks to Cordis.
Yes.
And then Cordis is just being kind of a prick, and then Bane tells me, like, whatever, I'm going to go figure this out. He goes out into the Valley of Dark Lords, goes looking for stuff, finds nothing, but still believes there's more to this. So he basically goes, steals Cordis's ship, blasts off into space, and goes looking for things to help him find the dark side. And I think we're there now. I think we're at 20.
Yes. Doesn't
Okay.
he tell them to like, I am Darth Bane. I am no longer just Bane. I am Darth Bane now.
He says it a few times between like chapter 18 and the end of the book.
Yeah.
He asks, is it Kasim? He asked Kasim, like, why did the Sith drop the Darth
Right.
title? And like, it was basically, he's like, they wanted everybody to be on even plane, so he thought the Dark title elevated. And
Right.
Bane is like, that's contradictory. Like, the Sith are supposed to be like strong. Like, why are we allowing weak Sith to like kind of prop up like the strong Sith? Like, we shouldn't have that. And
Right.
you can see like the beginning seeds of like the rule of two kind of being planted type
Right.
thing.
So now we're caught up, and
Yes.
Bane ends up flying off to an unforgotten realm, or not unforgotten, but like a semi-forgotten realm of the galaxy, where what was the term of the creatures, the name of the creatures that once the Rakata that used to rule the galaxy. There's the Star Forge there, remnants of it.
That's
Go
where
ahead,
he
sir.
finds Revan's holocron, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So he
I just
lands.
listened to it today, but
Yeah. So he lands on this island. There's nowhere really to land, so he kind of lands on like the beach area of it. And there's a massive forest, and the Rancor ends up coming out. And he ends up controlling the mind of the Rancor and hops on the back for a little, piggyback ride through the forest. And it talks a little bit about him, how he's tapping into its mind and is kind of controlling it deeper. It keeps wanting to wander off, but every time it does, he gets deeper into its mind and pulls it back. And he gets into there's a clearing. It's about 100 meters across or something to that effect. And there's a giant temple in the middle of this area. And so gets off the Rancor goes running, and then it says that he starts searching the temple, can't really find anything, but he feels like the dark side like very heavily in this temple. And so even though he's not necessarily finding anything, he's not getting discouraged, because he's like, there's got to be something here. The dark side is really present here. So he ends up going down to the lowest level, ends up finding what I consider to be almost like a trap door. Opens it up, gets in there, and he finds a Sith holocron. And it turns out to be a Sith holocron from Darth Revan. And we get pretty much a whole chapter of him sitting there, listening to this holocron and some of the things that Darth Revan says to him, talking about, this whole idea of basically the Brotherhood is a dumb idea. Like, like he always has said, like, when you have the weaker preying upon the stronger, and they're just doing it and able to do it because of numbers, not because necessarily they're better, that it creates a weaker and weaker Sith. And there's just a lot of different things in there that Revan gives him. And so he sits there for, quite a while. I think a couple weeks probably, I think is kind of what it refers to, where he's sitting there in the temple just meditating on all of these things that Revan has talked about in the Holocron.
Yeah, like I love that part too, where like you get the vibe that like Revan has these ideas. Like he never fully fleshed out the full on concept of Rule of Two, but like you
Right.
can tell Revan's just like thinking like, you know, the whole thing of Sith as a legion doesn't really make sense. Like it would literally go against our beliefs. Like he's almost thinking out loud in a
Right.
lot of it. Like he's doing the teachings, but then he'll like occasionally just start talking about like how it just doesn't make sense for there to be multiple Sith and how it just kind of holds back the Sith. And really it's Bane that kind of took all of that and then kind of created a doctrine out of it. So I mean,
Right.
Revan had the thoughts and he was just kind of thinking out loud. But I mean, it's Bane that kind of put it into like, this is the way the Sith should be.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yep. So he puts that in there. Now, pause that scene. Keep that scene kind of in your head. While that all is going on, we kind of go over to the Sith side, the Sith Brotherhood side, and you have Githany and Cordis and Khan. And is it Khan or Cordis that while back she kind of went into his room at night and he was kind of like freaking the freak out? Cordis, that's right. So anyway, they kind of have this thing between them, and Githany ends up having like a vision of where Bane is at. And so she gets up and goes and tells Cordis. Cordis tells Khan, I believe. And Khan ends up sending Kasim to this planet to tell Bane, listen, you either join us and become part of the Brotherhood, or I'm going to kill you right here, right
Basically
now.
a boss fight.
Right. Exactly. So he does that. And Kyber Force, I'm going to let you take the reign on this next part of the story real quick. I'm going to turn my camera off and stand up for a minute.
No worries. So yeah, like you get kind of an idea that like Kasim was holding back on a lot of his like training of Bane, because I think you could just tell he was aware Bane was going to be somebody that could possibly like cause him problems down the line. Because like a lot of things like he started throwing at Bane that he never taught Bane, that like the whole like two blades, and like Bane wasn't ready for a lot of that stuff. And I mean, you got to
that was like the only trick that he was able to pull out of his ass, because when I was
ended up not working.
He's like, it said something about like, oh, Kasim knew that he kind of messed up by teaching Bane like all the secrets to double-sided lightsabers, and then I completely missed the first time listening to it that he breaks the saber in two. I was like, bro, what? This dude
is just like sitting there and like it's Miles at Bane, and he just like, and then like all of a sudden it becomes two. Yeah, he like snaps it. Now he's
so they start this fight, and Bane is actually sitting in the top chamber meditating, and he's thinking about what he needs to do in order to destroy the Sith Brotherhood. And as he's in the middle of a thought, Kasim calls him out. Bane, where are you? And like Bane gets pissed. He's like, I was in the middle of meditation, in the middle of a thought, and you interrupted me, kind of a thing. And so, they kind of have this talking, and Kasim tells him like, listen, you either need to join the Brotherhood or I'm killing you. That's the way it's got to be. And so, they start this fight. They're going at it for a while. They're both thinking that they're a lot faster than they have ever seen each other before. They got a lot more moves. But Bane was able to hold off Kasim. Kasim thought that he could get him really easily in like the first few minutes with how quick he was, and then realized, oh crap, Bane is a lot better than I thought. And so ends up Bane brings him into the temple, pushes him into basically a corner, and Bane, is about to step through this doorway thinking that he's got the victory. He's about to destroy Kasim. And that's where Kasim, does what you guys were talking about, and he takes the lightsabers and he twists them apart, and he's got two lightsabers, and Bane's like, crap, I've never seen that before. And Yeah. Go ahead, Kyber.
And another thing too, like Bane was talking about, was like just Kasim's approach itself just showed how far the Sith had fallen away from their real ways. Like he's like, a real Sith would have like approached Bane and pretend to be a friend and like,
Yeah.
like, oh, you know, I'm over the Brotherhood. Like the Brotherhood like turned their back on me. Like, let's team up, buddy. And like,
Yeah.
no, like he's like just straight up like laid his cards out on the table. Like, I'm here to mess you up, dude. And Bane's like, that's not very Sith. Like, you just kind of told me exactly what you're doing. Like,
Right.
Siths are supposed to be like plotting and like revenge and all
Yeah.
that. Like,
Backstabbing, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
meticulous
Um,
calculating type stuff.
Yep. So then it explains that Kasim he's got the upper hand immediately and starts backing Bane into a corner. And they get to a point where Bane gets backed up to the top of some steps and he's got his foot kind of on the edge, and Kasim pushes him off the steps and he goes tumbling down and has bumps and bruises, but luckily he had kind of shielded himself. And Kasim decides that he's going to monologue for a minute, and does, to his own chagrin, because while he was doing that, Bane was gathering up the force and ends up just toppling the whole temple onto Kasim. He realized he wasn't going to win lightsaber style. It was the opposite of Dooku, you know, where he tells Yoda, I can see that this isn't going to be decided by the power of our force, but, you know, with skills with the lightsaber.
With the lightsaber.
It was the opposite. I can see this isn't going to be decided by the skills of our lightsaber, but by the power of the force, you know, like, so he topples that building on top of him, and kind of goes up there, makes sure he doesn't sense any presence. He's like, okay, Kasim is dead. So he ends up sending a message. He goes back to the beach where his ship and Kasim's ship is, sends a message, clears out Kasim's entire ship, sends a message to the Brotherhood that he wants to join, that he has, quote, seen the error of his ways, end quote, and wants to join the Brotherhood. But Githany is definitely weary of that, and instead asks to be sent to meet him, because she wants to gain his trust and then kill him. So she does. She meets him at the location that they're supposed to meet. And it's kind of funny because she, you know, they see each other, like Bane. It talks about Bane being really, really happy to see her. Like, he really likes her. And they, you know, start kissing and stuff. And like, he keeps kissing, not realizing. Well, he does realize that this, what is that? Something wood that poison. Is it like,
I don't remember the name.
I know. I can't remember
something
either.
wood. It's not like tongue wood or like
wood.
something like that. Is on her lips, and so like the whole time, like, she thinks she's being deceptive. He's like, ha, I see through your lies. Like, I'm really actually
through the lies of the Sith,
right? He's like, basically, but is in his head, he's like, I'm really proud. Basically, I'm proud of her that she's trying to be deceptive like this. Like, she's a possible candidate for my apprentice. And so, you know, he's using the dark side to kind of draw out that poison as they're doing their stuff. And so that whole time they're doing their thing, he tells her, I want to come back. She's like, okay, I'll go tell him. She gets in her ship and takes off. And Bane is thinking this whole time that, you know, like, she underestimated me, you know, she underestimates me, blah, blah, blah. Well, come to find out, Githany, yes, she did have the poison that he thought she had, but she also laced it with another poison that's odorless, tasteless, and colorless that he had no idea was in there. And so it talks about him thinking about these thoughts, and all of a sudden, in the middle of one of his thoughts, he just, oh, and like bends over in pain, and
tears of blood, like
blood coming out his nose and his eyes. Yeah,
and he starts getting mad because he thought the dark side was supposed to prevent the Sith from, you know, being affected by poison and all that.
Done.
Yeah, and he was supposed to be done. And I mean, so he realizes there's a healer. I mean, he's known about this healer on the planet, but he's like, I need to go find this guy. So he hops in, I mean, basically a speeder, and takes off to go find this guy. And as he does, he starts becoming weaker and weaker, and kind of like, I always get the sense where he's like leaning on the wheel, you know, just trying to do his best to kind of, and eventually like he just kind of, it takes him, the darkness takes him, and he kind of like basically like jerks the wheel, hits a rock, goes flying, the whole thing, lets the darkness take him. And then it wasn't very much longer. There was a guy and his, was it 2 sons or 3 sons?
And I have to say, before
One of
we
the
start going
youngest.
forward, Bane sets a whole new, like, we can't even talk about Anakin and his child murder. Bane just is like, I am so going to top your child murder in this one.
Yes. Yes.
He kills 3 kids. Anakin killed a whole generation of Jedi.
We didn't
Get
get to see how
outta
Anakin
here.
did it. We got to hear how Bane did these ones.
Yes. So that brings it up another level. If we get to see Anakin's, then cool. That's
We
that's
only
just-
got to say, Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What do we do?
and scene. So yeah, the dad and his 2 sons are there. It used to be a big battlefield there, so they're rummagers. They're looking for anything of value. And one of the kids picks up his lightsaber and is like, "Dad, look, a lightsaber." And it talks about, as the kid's saying that, Bane kind of wakes up and can feel the heart drop in the father. And the father tells him, "Put it down now." And Bane thinks to himself, too late.
Too late.
And uses the force, and it says the force, you know, it like jumped into the air, turned on, and then he killed the kid right then and there. And you
We'll
can hear the
say how he did it in book 2.
yes,
Which is lame, because when Gazer and I first talked about this book, he's telling me, dude, he's telling me all like the way that Bane killed him, and I'm listening to the book. I'm like, this dude lied to me. They didn't go into detail at all about this. And then the beginning of the second book, they go into detail. I'm like, first of all, that's cool, but why
There's
couldn't you put
toilet
that in for like
emotions,
3 sentences
right.
in the last book?
Yeah. So that first one, the first kid dies, and you hear the father, "No!" You know, like, why'd you have to do that? And then he's got his youngest son, and he's clutching his youngest son to his chest and begging for mercy. And Bane's response is, "Those who beg for mercy don't deserve it." And he kills the youngest son in his arms. And then the father's like, why'd you make me watch? And he gets into the middle of another question, and Bane just ends him right then and there, and uses all of that anguish and pain to feed his body and to keep himself going and to keep that poison from taking him over. So he ends up going to the healer, finds the healer, and doesn't say anything. The healer's just like, "I know who you are. I'm not going to help you. Like, I know why you're here. I know you need help. I know what you need help from, but I'm not going to help you." And he's basically like, "There's nothing you can say or do that's going to make me help you. I'm not afraid of pain," and puts his hand in this boiling pot that he's got over the fire, pulls it out, doesn't wince, says it doesn't wince or anything, doesn't make any kind of face. And so Bane is kind of confused right now for a little bit, because he's looking at this guy going like, this guy doesn't really have the force at all. He's just kind of empowered by nature and rock and different things. How is it that he's able to stand up? And then as he's searching this guy's feelings, he realizes that there's something he's trying to protect. And immediately he knows what it is. And so, yeah, go ahead.
Raggy.
Go ahead, nerd.
I was just gonna say, it reminds me of Return of the Jedi, you know, when Luke's hiding in the darkness and he's like, "Oh, your thoughts have betrayed you. A sister."
Yes. Yes. And so he goes into the house where there's only like a curtain for the door, and there's a little girl inside. And all he does is he grabs the little girl, grabs her by the leg, and holds her over the boiling pot. And the father's like kind of looking back and forth between the girl and and Bane, and the little girl's like, "Help me, Dad," and he's like, "All right, I'll do it. Like, I'll help you." And so Bane ends up getting the help he needs, all the while knowing that if he ever tries to betray him, he will just slaughter her in front of him and not really give a crap. And so he ends up getting healed, and there's actually like half a paragraph to a paragraph where it talks about him not killing the guy and the girl because not that it wouldn't be fun, but that it would be what is the word they use?
Beneficial.
Like, yes, it's not beneficial. It'd be very petty. It'd be foolish, and he wants to clean the Sith of fools.
Well, and he said he might need to heal her later. Like he kept him alive because he's like, he might be useful to me later. Right.
Yep. So Kyber Forge, I'll let you take it from there. My memory gets a little fuzzy because I read this. I love that part. I love the whole book. Don't get me wrong. I read that part a lot sooner than I've read the back part, believe it or not. I kind of read it backwards. So
so now that Bane's like got like all healthy and everything, because he said he could feel like the poison leaving him and everything, feel his strength returning, he's ready to go take down the Dark Lords. And part of the thing he sent when he sent that message was he sent them some information on a very super insanely strong force power called a thought bomb. And it was something that Revan told him about in the holocron before it was like destroyed. So it's like a completely forgotten like Sith like ability. And so Bane like kind of sends this as like a goodwill thing to like them to let them like, hey, you know, this is something you guys could do. This might work. It's kind of a cool idea, right?
Yeah.
And basically what it can do is it just kills the planet, right? Like it just kind of like destroys everything in like a radius.
Including the masters who do the thought bomb together.
Yeah, but they don't think about that, do they?
No, they don't.
Well,
Anyway,
I feel like Bane didn't tell them that that's what's going to happen. He was just like, try the thought bomb because it gets rid of all the force users within like a certain like amount of radius or whatever it is.
That's part of his deception and cunning that he wants to bring back to the Sith.
It literally reminds me of that meme of like Dooku reading, and it's like, okay, so the rule of two has a master and apprentice, and I just helped Anakin get closer to the dark side to become the new apprentice. It's like, okay, so let's figure out math here.
One of these things just doesn't belong here. Yeah, go ahead, continue. Sorry.
So pretty much from there, Bane returns. Was it Roshan? What's the name of the planet where they're all having this like giant war?
I think it's Roshan. Yeah, something like that.
Rosuf or something like that. Begins with an R.
Rushan or something.
Rusan.
Yeah.
Rusan.
It's something like that.
Yes, it's Rusan.
Okay. So
Leia,
goes back
Leah.
there.
It's Leia.
And then he shows up and he's like, "Hey guys, like I'm here to help." And he enters the room like a freaking boss. Like
he does.
Yeah, because they're going over
there trying to pitch his battle plans and everything, and like Bane just pretty much just walks in and kicks his like feet up on the guy's like table.
He does. Isn't he eating something too? He's like sitting there eating and just kind of like laughing. Like
he's ends just up Tony Starking him pretty much, just actively eating while he's talking.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, cute little battle plan you guys got going here." Like, that's not going to work.
This part made me literally bust out laughing at work. Is like they looked at Bane and they're like, "Well, what do you think?" He's just like, "I'm tired." I don't care about you or your plans. I'm tired.
Like, he's basically playing the guy in Office Space. Like he has no F's left to give. Like
nope, none.
So yeah, Bane just kind of just sits there and tells Khan, like, yeah, your plan's pretty stupid. Like, why don't you do what I've had throughout there? You know, the thought bomb, like, it'll get rid of them. And some too. We've totally skipped over. One of the dopest characters in the whole book is General Hoth.
Yeah.
Like, probably after reading this, one of my favorite Jedis. Dude is a just awesome gray Jedi. Like, and insanely strong. And he just keeps, like, he's pretty much Khan's rival. And
To put how strong he is, there's a moment where they talk about, it's after the rain season and they're going through the forest and they kind of split up a few groups and the Sith attack them, and his like right hand man, his best friend, dies, and while he's looking, there's a Sith apprentice who goes to like jump and literally like chop his head off, and it says without even looking at him, at the person jumping to chop his head off, he basically stops her midair and like freezes her, like in midair, without even looking away from his friend that just died. And then she ends up getting hit by
like,
fellow
clumsily killed by, like, yeah, they're sick.
yeah. So he's very, very powerful. Anyway, continue.
And earlier in the book too, he basically does the whole battle meditation thing where he can literally take over an entire fleet of like ships and like influence all the pilots to basically turn the tide of battle. Like, there isn't any Jedi in like any movies that's on the level of power that he's on, basically. Like, and he's named after a planet. I mean, a planet's named after him eventually in the lore. So he ends up being a pretty big deal.
Right.
But so they're getting worried because like Hoth is starting to get, like, he's kind of figured out his, like, he's getting his mojo back, basically. Like, he was having a hard time. He was getting closer and closer to the dark side because, like I was saying, this has kind of got that Clone Wars vibe where the Jedi aren't quite doing Jedi things anymore.
Yeah.
And they're kind of,
they're making exceptions and compromising.
Yeah, sacrificing their morality to win the war, and it's affecting them. So, like, they say it's just a dream, but Hoth basically gets visited by a Force ghost of his master, and kind of is like talked off his ledge and like, hey, like, you can do these things, like, you know, you have these abilities, and like these
Lord Jedi brought people with you. You need to listen to him. Yeah,
and he hasn't turned his back on you. He's just worried you're falling to the dark side, and he's like, if you show them that you are still the good Jedi that everybody believes you are, then we'll be able to kind of turn the tide of the war. And he does. And then suddenly the Jedi start like making more ground again. So then like Khan in desperation turns to Bane's thought bomb. And
after
time they,
wasn't there a part?
Oh,
okay. Well, I guess Gazer
suddenly there vanishes.
But there was that part where Bane
back,
it actually might be after what you were saying, but I just remember that Bane got a hold of some communicator and managed to get the Sith blockade to start going after the Jedi and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
It was right before that. Yeah.
Yep. Got so excited I left, baby. I can't handle the truth.
So like Bane basically says, which is probably one of the best lines in the book, let's kill a planet.
I love that.
And so basically they start doing this thought bomb. Like all of the Sith get together, just start focusing their power, and they're literally pushing dark side power in the Bane. None of them are thinking about this at all.
This is my favorite ritual out of all the things like in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, they're basically all of them are pushing every bit of power they have, which they're all super strong in the dark side, and they're just giving it all up to Bane. And like Cordis basically tells him afterwards, like, it felt like your teeth were at our throat. And like it suddenly kind of connects there for Cordis. He's like, oh, you're not here to help us. Like, and then that's when like Bane grabs him, like gives him the full-on force choke, and like,
yep.
And then Cordis starts begging, like, let's fight like Sith with lightsabers, like.
Yeah.
And like Bane's like, nah, we're not doing that. You're number 2 on my list. I got that Kill Bill thing going on here.
See, my favorite part out of like this entire book is the ritual that Bane does, where like he starts levitating and just like turns into a force lightning storm
Yes.
and just starts
Yeah.
shocking the hell out of everybody that's on the ground around him. Like,
And that's what they're
Oh.
like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
like
are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
it was, I think it was Khan that like broke his concentration to make him stop.
Yeah. Khan was the first one that, was it Khan or was it Cordis?
No, I think it was Khan because Khan
Okay.
sets off the
Because
thought
Cordis
bomb.
kind of, like the only one out of the 3 I really had respect for a little bit was Kasim. Because it seemed like
Yeah.
Kasim was kind of just on the edge of just flipping on him, but he couldn't fully let himself go. But like Cordis just is a suck up. Like he's just
Yeah.
He's a fool.
he's got no discernible like qualities. Like he's just there to be the number 2 to Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he was basically just the principal of the academy
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Moraban. Almost called it.
So then-
Moraban.
I love the part 2 when he talked. Like for some reason, my brain just suddenly got like Sith Harry Potter in my head when he was like just making fun of the fact that it was just like a bunch of students going class to class. Like,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So then they stop that ritual. Things kind of end up getting desperate for the Sith. And they end up end up using the thought bomb, but it's Khan that's leading the charge on it now. And he takes all of the Sith users, the apprentices and masters. They go to a cave to use it, and Hoth ends up realizing this, and so he's going to take him and 99 Jedi into the cave to try and stop them.
didn't these guys ever see The Dark Knight Returns?
Right. So they're going to try and stop them, and it explains that Khan, they all sit down, all the Sith people that are there, they sit down to do this thought bomb in there, and it includes Githany. Githany's in on it, and they're sitting there and they're starting this process, and they're getting into it, and they're holding hands, and they're sitting there, and like more and more they do this. It's almost like they're losing themselves in a sense as they're doing this. And they get like halfway through it, 3/4 of the way through it, and Githany realizes what's going on, but everyone's so entranced with what's happening that she actually has a hard time like getting out of like the holding the hands part. And so she finally rips herself away from it, but everyone's still so entranced that it doesn't do anything to break it. So she realizes, I think, kind of what's happening, and so she tries getting out of there. She tries running out of the cave.
So close, man.
So close.
So
So close. And so they're doing this ritual. She takes off. She's running in the cave. She gets, corner. She thinks she knows where she's going. And she thinks she knows where she needs to head. And by this point, Darth Bane is like on the other side of the planet almost. I don't know. Is he? I can't remember. Is he trying to get away? Or is he just?
No, I think he was purging Sith because there was that one dude
Yeah.
that asked him to help him, and he called him
It's glorious.
Yeah, he just called him Bane. He's like, "Help me, Bane!" And he looked and he said, "I'm Darth Bane."
That's right.
He just stomped
Dark
his head
Lord
into the
Sith.
rock.
That's right. That's right. Oh man, I forgot about that. See, guys, this is brutal. And so Khan is leading this, and the Jedi go in there to stop him, and Githany gets to a point where she can almost see where she needs to go, like the end, but she's got to
'cause
go.
She feels the air, like the fresh air hitting her.
Yes, but she gets not caught, but she's like in between these like two like thinner parts where she's got to like turn sideways and squeeze to get through. And as she does, Lord Khan does the thought bomb, and everything within that radius just starts literally like like almost like Thanos with the snap,
Mhm.
where everyone starts turning to dust and like.
See,
So-
the way that I kind of took it was more like they kind of looked at Medusa and turned to stone, because it said that
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
That's how I saw it too.
she like froze perfectly balanced until her body toppled over and then it disintegrated.
Well,
Yes, that's
I
true.
got vibes too of I don't know if you guys remember from Rebels, like that Sith like super weapon that went off that like turned everybody into stone.
Oh yeah.
That was the vibes
Mhm.
I got. Was it was something? It was the one where it was like that big pyramid in Rebels that they're going to, where Maul. It's like where Maul's involved in it, and he's leading Ezra, trying to turn Ezra to the dark
I
side.
remember him trying to turn Ezra and Vader showing up on Malachor and stuff, but I don't remember the Sith super weapon.
It's basically this giant, like it looks like a giant Sith holocron, basically.
I guess
and
this is just my cue to rewatch Rebels.
So it was basically from like a similar thing, a battle that happened like thousands of years ago, and it was set off, and everybody in the area was just turned into stone, and they were
Yeah.
all locked into place around this pyramid.
But I think this describes like as she's trying to get through, she realizes she's not, you know, she can feel that fresh air, and like she comes to the realization of what's happening right now in that moment. And yeah, she ends up turning to stone. There everything goes gray and she falls over and she's just gone.
It's not like an instant either. It's kind of like
Mhm.
in waves. Like she feels like the wave hit her, and then she's like, her face starts like
It sounds
getting
torturous. Like, it
disfigured and
doesn't
all
sound
that.
easy.
Like,
Yeah, it sounds bad.
and then there's Bane, who's basically like Darth Vader in the Force Unleashed. Whenever Starkiller like does that massive Force
the
thing, and
shredding
just like,
thing, yeah.
because it said like Bane's just like he's walking, and all of a sudden he just feels the wave like right over him, and he's just like, "Huh, I didn't think they had the balls."
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Like, wow, those stupid idiots did it.
So
And then he feels out and doesn't even sense Biffany. He's like, "Oh, dang! Now I done lost my one apprentice potentially. That's
Yeah.
great."
so then we
Bane's just walking like, man, Yoda's going to feel this one.
yeah, right. Exactly. So then we jump forward a little bit of time. I don't think it's a ton of time. And Bane finds his apprentice. And that scene is crazy. Go ahead, nerd.
Before we get into this, Disney, you want us to like a badass female character? You bring Darth Bane and Darth Xana into live action, I will literally just set up my paycheck to go straight
See,
to the company.
Yeah.
I applaud the writer, like the writing of this book, the misdirection. I literally believed through this whole book that Giffany was going to be Darth Xana.
Same.
that
The
was just-
first time I read it, I
that's
felt the
exactly
same
how this
way.
was we were going. Like, and the fact, like, when she turned, like, so who's Darth Xana? Like,
Yeah. Yep. So we fast forward a little bit, and we get a picture of this little girl, Xana. And what is she called? She has a nickname. It's not Xana. It's
I forgot what her actual name is.
yeah, because it's
It
not.
isn't-
She has a regular name, and then Xana's a
Yeah.
different name.
so it's two Jedi that come up. She's got a little helper, or some type of helper creature, I believe it is.
Healer,
Healer, something like that. Yeah. And the Jedi take her away, and she doesn't understand that, and so she gets angry, and literally as a 8-year-old kid, I think 8 or 9-year-old kid, literally snaps their necks. She gets so angry, she just snaps their necks, and they're done. I mean, that's some power right there for an 8-year-old or 9-year-old to do that.
Well, you
Oof.
think back to earlier in the book too, like the fact of always like a Jedi and a Sith, there's a whole level of protection that they learn. Like one of the first things they learn is to make a force shield. So to literally snap a Jedi's neck is pretty hardcore. Like you have to literally break through their force shield to snap their neck.
Well, who's
Right.
to say that the Jedi are actually using force absorption or anything like
maybe
that.
maybe they were underestimating her and like, oh, 8-year-old, whatever. Come on, kid, let's go.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So she does that, and basically Bane ends up finding her and sees the scene, realizes kind of what happened, puts two and two together, and decides that this is probably the best way to get an apprentice, is to train him from the ground up. And I'm going to use her anger to train her. And yeah, that's kind of where book one leaves off, is he walks away with what will be known as Darth Zana. Yeah. Pretty wild.
Yeah,
Great
and I
book.
Easily
also think,
15
too,
out of 10, way better than Plagueis.
Tiffany would have never been a good like apprentice for him either, because honestly, Bane is definitely more powerful than her, and her like own arrogance kind of is in the way of her being able to get over that like hump. And I feel like it just would have been like annoying for Bane, like constantly trying to like fend off her, like trying to like attack him and failing at it. Because yeah, like it was definitely not like the right choice for him. Like and I think that's the way they wrote her too. It seems like she's the best choice until you really think about it. Like
Right.
she would have never been the right apprentice for him.
She never would have been. Nope, not at all. So that's where book one leaves off. Now, for those of you still watching, we are going to take a break from the Bane series. We are going to jump into the Revenge of the Sith novel because that is coming up. We are
narrator.
Same narrator. We are also going to do a couple of watch parties up until Revenge of the Sith with the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. So
Nerd, you got those dates? I figured them out today for you, because we were trying to figure out exactly how to space them to have us going right up into the premiere of episode 3.
Send those to me too, because I know you were kind of figuring that out.
But yeah, I think too we hadn't decided yet, because there's literally a show the Tuesday before April 25th. So we haven't yet decided if that is going to be Attack of the Clones or if we've already got Attack of the Clones done by the time that week comes up.
I would like to have Attack of the Clones done by that time.
Okay.
Because that night
so we'll
of
get
that,
that
I'm
week
doing
forward.
a watch party with battle packs for the new Andor.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
So
So I think actually next show we might be. I'll have to double check, but next show might be a Phantom Menace watch party then.
okay, sounds good to me.
I'll have to double check, but we'll let everybody know.
Yep, we'll let you guys know as things happen. So, we got that, and I think that's it. Don't forget, guys, go to ICCC, get your tickets, including VIP, if you use code Gazer10 or Nerd10, I believe.
SW Nerd.
SW Nerd 10 or Gazer 10, you'll get 10% off your tickets, including VIP. For those of you who are veterans or whether active or retired, or you served in the like police or paramedics, anything like that, they do offer 25% off, including
Awesome
VIP.
deal.
Yes. So go get your tickets. We were able to announce on our show Roger Christian and Star Wars Theory will be there. So
It'll be so awesome.
it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. So super excited about that. Trying to think. Thought there was something else, but I think that's it for now. So just stay tuned, guys. Archives of the Empire is a new thing. Well, not new, but new.
Oh, we haven't actually done this for a few weeks. If you want, throw the link down there in the chat. If anybody wants to join our Discord, we just remodeled it today to reflect the new show. We have that's kind of where we're doing the stuff with announcing the book club and kind of working people into like the show as far as like getting questions of the week and that type of stuff. So anybody wants to join, you're more than welcome to. It's a pretty fun time. We just kind of talk on there and BS about Star Wars.
Heck yeah. I love it. We'll throw it either in the chat or in the description. I'm trying to pull it up right now, but it's not. Oh, there it goes. Now it's cooperating. Yay. So we'll throw it up in here in the chat and on the description of the video and everything, so you guys can take part in that. Should I get my Origin Saber signed by Roger and Nia? Yes,
absolutely,
1000%.
dude.
Yeah, 100%. That makes it even more valuable. 100%.
That's like 3 Roger signatures at that point, right? Because you have the laser etch, the
Yes.
marker one, and then your own that you just got on there.
Yep.
So is this confirmation that Outpost is coming to ICCC?
Did you see his post? Speaking of the Discord, he
No,
he
because
posted something
Discord
in
don't
there.
like to send me notifications for some reason.
He is coming.
He gave us a 99%.
Yes.
All right. Now remember, all 3 days, dude, you got to wear your mask. If you want to take it off, you got to go to your hotel room. You want to
Yep.
eat something, you got to get away from us.
Yep. You can't even go to Chili's with us late at night or anything and get
Dude,
food.
it's
You have
cool.
like
We'll
your
throw
host.
all of your stuff into a blender and work it into a shake. We'll just drill a little tiny hole right there into the mouth, and you will be hooked up all weekend, man.
We'll get you one of those helmets with the cups and the little straws coming down so you can.
Dude, a beer. We'll get him a beer hat big enough to fit over top of the mask.
Oh, I love it. He was number one.
Number one.
He was number one.
If dude can go to a restaurant as small, I can wear my mask. You just can't eat. I mean, you can go there, you just can't eat.
Oh, it's going to be great. We definitely since we can't go for Revenge of the Sith, we all got to go out to eat and just straight up cosplay. Just show up at the restaurant, just all like Jedi garb. Table of 6.
Yeah. I want a booth. Oh man. So don't forget, guys, go to Rebel Scum Art and Apparel. Use code SWN00 or Star Wars Gazer at checkout. Get 15% off your entire order. If you guys want to, go to saberspro.com, use code Gazer, get 10% off your order. Also go to battlepacks.com for any sweet Lego sets or anything there. Use code Gazer10. You'll get 10% off there as well. I did order my business cards, so anyone I'm meeting at ICCC, I got a sticker, I got business cards. So
He's actually making mine.
I know he showed me
speaking
it
of
the other
which-
night when we were video chatting.
I just got this in the mail from him.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, dude.
You guys can hit the QR code right there. You guys want to get any of BP's cool stuff? He has
Yep.
some sick Lego sets.
He does. Gazer
Yeah.
10, get 15% off. Your entire order. Optic says crap, you're right. I know I'm right. There's one time where I thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken.
Wait. You were wrong about being wrong?
Yeah.
It's double negative. It cancels out. You're fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken. Oh man. So appreciate you guys being on here. Really do. This is fun. I like the rebrand. We got a comment tonight that they love the new name, so we're gonna stick with it.
We're absolutely. We're gonna figure out a way to put that logo on a t-shirt. I'm kind of way too into my logo that I made.
Heck yeah, dude. I think one
I already
with,
got it, and I've already been looking at how can I get this on a t-shirt?
I think a t-shirt, like a black t-shirt with the logo on the chest right here would be really cool.
I think because I've been looking at maybe making one without the wording and just have just the logo in the middle of the t-shirt.
Yeah. I like it.
I'll let you guys know. I'm working on it.
On a hat too, like a black hat would be sick.
Yes.
So
Stickers.
anyway, guys, you guys have anything else before we get out of here and bug out?
Oh, one quick thing. Video going up tomorrow. I finished a starship of Nerd's favorite character.
Oh, nice.
Burn it. Burn it on stream right now. You won't. Set it on fire.
Look at that color changing purple, Nerd. I can't burn that. That's too awesome.
Yeah, but it's for an asshole character.
Hey, he's not in. Shh, it's okay. He's not talking to you. It's fine, okay? He's having a hard time, okay? He's got this kid with long hair that's always like, I'm a master. And he's like, no, you're not, kid. Sit down, okay? I'm trying to run a council here.
Oh, man.
It's not even his council to run.
What? The little yellow guy next to, or the green guy next to him? Mace is running the show.
Bryant says, good night, gentlemen. Thanks for watching, Bryant. I
Good
really
night.
appreciate it. Heart from Outpost. Thank you guys for joining. We appreciate all of you. We love all of you. And may the force be with you always.
Always.